Daniel Kaye is a writer, illustrator, compulsive nonprofit joiner, and director of community engagement at a life plan community just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He has been drawing Milo K. Hermit Crab since 1999, with a comic strip appearing in a weekly newspaper group for more than 10 years and in an environmental magazine for the last decade. Milo has also become the focus of a trio of wonderful children's books, where all the proceeds have been donated to a variety of charities. So far, more than $5,000 has been given away. The whole point of Milo has been to push out kindness, fun, and humor to a world where we need more of all three, Kaye explains. That's what the hermit crab community does, while educating people about how to better care for the little guys too, of course. Kaye says to expect much more of Milo in the future, which he hopes will help add to the awareness of the hermit crab fan community. That's us, in case you were wondering. All three books are available at www.danielk.net. Please welcome Milo K. Hermit Crab and his clever creator, Daniel Kaye.
Hi everybody, it's Daniel Kaye, and I'm here at CrabCon in 2023. This year I'm going to share some very special, limited edition, never seen before, nobody ever even knew it existed stuff from Milo K. Hermit Crab, which is my comic strip that I've been doing for about 10 years in Grid magazine. Before that, I did it in a country music magazine, I did it in a weekly newspaper, I did it all over places. All kinds of great stuff. It was fun. It's been great. I love Milo. Milo's also in a series of children's books, which I talked about last year, and will hint a little bit about the third book that just came out at the end of this video. So first, let me introduce you to some very little-known images of Milo that I used over the years to entertain, enlighten, and annoy. Here they are. First off, Downton Krabby. You might not know this, but for a while, Milo was a big star on PBS. He was also in The Crabbing Dead. He fought all kinds of zombie hermit crabs. He was also in Minecraft for a while. That was for kids. I didn't really watch it. He was also in My Little Krabby. Remember My Little Pony? It's kind of a knockoff. He was also in A Crab Insane, a David Bowie album. And of course, he supports his local sports teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Philadelphia Phillies. You might not know this, but Milo, Mad Dog Cucamonga, was actually on a baseball card in the early 2000 and I don't know what it was, 20s? This is from Never Underestimate a Hermit Crab, one of the first books I did, where we got into Milo and all the strange things about him that you need to know. He was about 2 inches tall. He weighed about 3 ounces. He always batted left. He throws terribly. He was born in Cape May, New Jersey, and living in Abington, Pennsylvania. He had an ERA of 9.0 and a record of 230, 1, and 0. He was the pinnacle of crustacean superiority when it comes to hitting. However, he is far less successful with throwing, which has been called awful, pathetic, and really, really, really bad by virtually everyone who has ever met him. You think hermit crabs just sit there, think the highlight of their day is not moving? You've got it all wrong. There's a lot going on in those crabby little heads, so just don't judge them. Moving on from there, we also had Milo involved in a lot of political issues, as you see in that one. And you see in this one where he is involved with other hermit crabs that look quite different from each other and getting out the vote. And don't forget, he is the mascot of the Crab Street Journal, which you may have seen. So you might not know this, but Milo Kaye also spent a lot of time as a superhero. He was in the DC Comics and in Marvel Comics. He was in most of the big blockbuster films that we watched over the past few years. Although he wasn't in Infinity War, he held out for a lot of money, which he never really got. So he actually was blacklisted for a period of time. But while he was an actor and while he was a superhero, he was the amazing Bat Crab. He was Captain Americrab. He was Crab Vereen, which is not Ben Vereen. This is Crab Vereen, which is like Wolverine. He also was an Iron Crab, in Spider Crab, and finally in Super Crab, where he came from a distant land and the only thing that he couldn't stand was Crab Tonight. I just came up with that one, so I might use that. Now, of course, like most hermit crabs, Halloween is Milo's favorite holiday. It comes second only to St. Swithin's Day, which he doesn't know what it means, he just likes to say Swithin. So for Halloween, he dressed up as a lot of different characters, and he was part of a Halloween poster we did last year, which you may have seen, and you may have colored in, and you may have submitted it, and you may have won something, I don't know. He was as a bat, he was dressed up as a bee, he was in a trick-or-treat bag, he was a black cat, he was a clown, he was a devil, and even a dinosaur. He was Frankenstein, a ghost. He hid behind a gravestone. He was a violent murderer, which you'll enjoy. I think you'll like that one. I enjoyed that one. He was a zombie mummy. He was a pirate. He was even hiding in a jack-o'-lantern at some point. And he was a scare crab. He was also a skeleton, a spider, a swamp creature, a vampire, and a werewolf, not to mention a witch. He was also a wizard, and he was part of himself, the living dead zombie crab that came out of the ground and poked you gently on the foot. This wasn't scary so much as he really needed a snack. So as I said earlier, Milo Kaye Hermit Crab was part of, and is still really a part of a comic strip that's been going on for many, many years, and that I've been really enjoying doing. One of the big things that I've been doing with Milo is he's been in Grid Magazine, which is an environmental magazine in the Philadelphia area. So I wanted to show you some of the comic strips he's been in, and you'll kind of get his sense of humor. Keep in mind, most of these are environmentally based, so he's kind of holier than thou, but you'll probably enjoy it. So in this first one, he says, the green economy idea seems to be really impacting our area. From composting to textile recycling, from farm to table dining to alternative energy. And then his friend comes in and says, personally, my favorite green is on a golf course. At which point Milo says, and that is why no one calls you an environmentalist. In this next one, Milo says, with the single-use plastic bag ban going into effect, people need to start carrying reusable bags. We need to think smarter and make life changes that support these important initiatives. And his friend says, I don't need bags at all. I eat all my groceries while I'm still in the store. And Milo says, I think I need to emphasize the word smarter more. In this next one, Milo's friend says, I don't know about you, but COVID really opened my eyes. I was working too much, was really anxious, and my quality of life was awful. I decided I needed a less stressful life. And Milo says, less stressful than sitting in the sand watching everyone else do things? And his friend says, exactly, I hired a guy to watch people and report back to me. In this next one, Milo says, I think the path to real environmental change is through education. People need to have real knowledge about issues. They need to understand the science behind what is happening and what can be done. And his friend said, I just read on Facebook that giant slugs are the real cause for holes in the ozone layer. Milo says, also, maybe we could end social media? In this next one, Milo says, I've created a card game with an environmental spin. Every card you take explains a worrisome issue affecting our planet. And then his friend is shocked to see, it says there are more than 1 million cards. Milo says, yeah, we thought we'd just keep it to the main ones for now. In this next one, Milo says, hermit crabs believe in protecting resources. When hermit crabs grow, they swap out their shells for ones that fit better. That old shell then goes to a smaller crab who uses it until they grow too large themselves. Then it's given to another small crab. Then he notices his friend. Sometimes, though, some hermit crabs grow a little attached to their favorite shells. And his friend says, I still fit. I am still a little crab. In this one, Milo says, I've long been a forager, going out in nature, finding things to eat, but also keeping things healthy, so as to not negatively affect the environment. Not that it's easy, mind you. And his friend says, I'll say, have you ever tried to find a bag of Cheetos out in their natural habitat? And Milo says, I'd imagine they'd excel at camouflage. In this next one, Milo says, what are you doing? And his friend says, I heard we're losing wetlands at a dramatic pace, so I'm doing my part. Well, that won't help. We need to draw more attention to this. And his friend says, write our politicians? Stage a protest? And Milo says, I think appeal to the lowest common denominator. And there's a sign that says, meet a Kardashian. And his friend says, hey, there's already a crowd forming. In this next one, Milo says, I love a clean home. I feel better when things are where they are supposed to be, and there is order in my world. I was raised to pick up after myself. I was raised to take pride in my area. I was raised to embrace cleanliness. And his messy friend comes in and says, I was raised by wolves. And he says, you raised my blood pressure. In this one, Milo says, have you heard of toy libraries? For a small fee, you can borrow toys instead of spending a ton more to own them. Then when the child no longer plays with the toy, you don't throw it out. It goes to another child and they can play with it. And his friend says, what if you want to keep it for yourself forever and not share with others? And Milo says, then we use a therapist library, where you get someone who can help you be a better person. In this next one, Milo says, what is that? And his friend says, it's my new electric shell. It gets better mileage, has a lower carbon footprint, and is more economical than my gas-guzzling shell. Milo says, shells are natural. There's no such thing as a gas-guzzling shell. And his friend says, if you like poor fuel economy so much, why don't you marry it? Now help me find a charging post. And in this one, you see Milo has a friend. He says, hi there, little lanternfly. And then you see he says, man, you guys grow fast. And the lanternfly says, by next summer, we'll each be the size of a cruise ship. Now you may remember last year, if you watched this video that I put out during CrabCon 2022, that I have several children's books out starring Milo. So in the latest one, which has just come out, I drew it, but I didn't write it. What I did was I wrote a book with Rabbi Howard Bogant. He is a senior rabbi at a place that I work during the week, and he became a good friend of mine. Howard had written a bunch of books over the years, and this time he decided to use the text he had to work on a Milo story. So the book is called Never Tell a Hermit Crab We Can't Repair the World. And I wanted to share some of the images with you. So in this book that we did together, you'll see a couple of pictures that I think that will illustrate some of the story without giving too much away. That was the goal. So in this first one that you're looking at, this is Milo seeing a bus going overhead, and it has a bunch of little hermit crabs in it. In this next one, you'll see a bunch of hermit crabs connecting in different ways, whether they're hugging or shaking hands or even giving each other a little kiss. In this picture, you'll see all the different things that Milo was doing during the day, from swinging on a rope to snuggling with a teddy bear to getting a little boo-boo, hanging on a tree, playing ball, and even writing a letter. In this next one, you'll see him swinging from a tree with his friends playing beneath him. And in this one, different places maybe that Milo has lived in his life. A tent, in a 2-story walk-up, and in a yurt. I believe that's a yurt. I just like saying the word yurt. Who doesn't? And then you'll see in this picture, Milo hugging the world. If these pictures interest you at all and make you want to learn more, the book is available now, and all the money that raised from this book go to charity, just like our 2 other books. So far, we've raised several $1,000s for a variety of charities. So you can always visit www.danielk.net and get hooked up with one of the books. So one of the great things about doing Milo Kaye Hermit Crab for me over the years is I'm able to put my voice through Milo. I've been having a lot of fun with putting him in different situations and drawing him in different ways and kind of connecting with kids with the things that Milo does. The character himself is very innocent and sweet. He's got a good disposition, but he's always interested in the mysteries of the world and trying to solve them. Very curious. And I know the folks watching this video, a lot of you have your own hermit crabs, and you have been bringing them out, and you've been putting them on the ground and watching them scurry around, and you put them in your hand, and you let them climb their cages and just kind of hang out sometimes with them. And I wonder how you see their personalities. Do you have ones that are sweet and kind of huddle with you? Do you have ones that are maybe a little aggressive, or ones that are daring maybe, who do some crazy things in their tanks? It's kind of fun to watch them. It's kind of fun to see what they're doing and what they maybe kind of guess what they might be thinking and where their lives could go. And I think some of the stories that people write about the hermit crabs, their hermit crabs, is kind of great too. Kids will send me pictures of their drawings and drawings of Milo. And when I go to schools, we'll talk about what their hermit crab can do. And maybe they're in a band. Maybe they have a job. Maybe they travel the world. Kids are great with coming up with so many imaginative things to do with hermit crabs, and it seems like hermit crabs are one of the first pets people get from down the shore. But I think that it's also really important for this community to educate kids about hermit crabs, the best way to treat them and give them the right food and protect them. And, they're not a toy. They're a living thing. And it's really important, the work that you do, to get that news out there for kids especially. I think also that one of the creative sides that I notice for a lot of people in the community is the different products they create and the different ways they like to have art with their different hermit crabs, and the way they watch them and the way they watch how the crabs interact with other hermit crabs. It's a great community and it's a lot of fun, and I really appreciate the support I've got. I love the Crab Street Journal. I love the folks that are involved with it. And I hope that if you enjoy your hermit crab, you'll share stories and maybe get other people to do that too, and just have a lot of fun with them. They are neat little creatures, unlike anything you've ever seen by anybody else. So enjoy your hermit crab, have fun, enjoy the convention down there. I'm sorry I can't be there, but I know that all the hotel rooms are sold out and everybody is having a great time. So thanks for tuning in and enjoy everybody else's videos. See you, everybody.